Are you tired of being invisible? Of feeling like your words carry no weight? Like you're constantly fighting for a crumb of respect, only to be dismissed, ignored, or worse, manipulated? Most men walk through life operating on a prayer and a smile, wondering why they always come up short. Why women seem to lose interest, why their boundaries are constantly trampled. They're playing checkers while the world is playing a brutal game of chess. And if you don't know the rules, you're not just losing, you're being played. This isn't about being nice, this is about raw power. It's about understanding the deep currents of human interaction, the silent battles for dominance that happen every single day, whether you realize it or not. Today, we're ripping off the band-aid. We're going deep into the unforgiving playbook, drawing lessons from the sharpest minds in history. Yes, we're talking Machiavelli to arm you with 10 absolute, non-negotiable strategies to instantly command respect, not earn it, command it. If you've ever felt overlooked, taken for granted, or seen your masculine authority chipped away, then this is your wake-up call. Because if you don't master these principles, you will remain a pawn. You will continue to be outmaneuvered. You will continue to lose. It's time to stop reacting and start orchestrating. Stay locked in, because what I'm about to share will fundamentally shift how you navigate every interaction, especially with women. This isn't advice, it's a strategic weapon. Don't dare click away if you want to stop being a man who's merely survived, and start being a man who dictates the terms. Our first strategic weapon in this arsenal of masculine strategy is the art of strategic silence. Understand this: a weak man, a low-value man, is constantly justifying himself. He explains, he defends, he overcommunicates, desperate to be understood, to be liked, to gain approval. Every explanation is a concession of power, every justification an admission that his initial stance might be flawed, that he needs external validation to shore up his conviction. This isn't just a communication error, it's a profound leak of authority. When you constantly justify, you are signaling to the world, and especially to women, that you lack self-assurance, that your decisions are open for debate, that your very existence requires an explanation. This is how men become doormats, how their voices fade into background noise, how they lose respect. A truly high-value man operates differently. He understands the profound power of not needing to explain himself. His actions speak, his presence commands. Silence, when wielded with intent, is not empty. It's pregnant with meaning. It forces the other party to lean in, to wonder, to fill the void. This isn't about being aloof or arrogant. It's about mastering your emotional control, demonstrating an unwavering self-possession that doesn't buckle under scrutiny. When you don't jump to defend, you communicate an inherent confidence in your position. You shift the burden of proof onto the other person. You establish that your word, your decision, your boundary, stands on its own merit. This is a crucial move in the mental game, a psychological advantage. Machiavelli understood that perception is reality, and a man who is always explaining himself appears uncertain, easily swayed, ripe for manipulation. Consider the dynamic. Someone questions you, challenges you. The instinct is to respond, to rebut. But what if you met that challenge with a deliberate, unyielding silence, a pause that communicates, "My position is solid. It requires no defense from me." This isn't passive aggression. It's active command. It's a masculine strategy that broadcasts an unshakable inner core. It immediately elevates your standing. It forces the other person to confront their own discomfort. This demonstration of emotional control doesn't just earn respect, it commands it. It's a strategic withdrawal from the emotional chess game where lesser men are always reacting. Instead, you're dictating the terms by refusing to play by theirs. This powerful silence, this refusal to engage in constant justification, isn't just about what you don't say. It's about what you project, an undeniable aura of power and control. But strategic silence is just one piece of this intricate puzzle. There's another fundamental mistake that most men make, one that leaves them vulnerable and easily exploitable. That mistake. It's the incessant need to while strategic silence signals unshakable strength, verbose justification broadcasts profound insecurity. Every extra word, every additional reason you offer for your decision is a concession. You're not just explaining, you're implicitly asking for approval, negotiating your own authority. This isn't about fostering understanding, it's a desperate attempt to avoid perceived conflict, a profound lack of emotional control. It's a surrender of power. In the mental game, the man who feels compelled to elaborate reveals his fear of judgment, his need for external validation. This weakness is a direct invitation for manipulation. Why would a high-value man, confident in his path, waste his breath trying to convince others of his worth or the validity of his choices? He understands that genuine respect isn't earned through exhaustive explanations, but through unwavering conviction. This is a core tenet of masculine strategy. Your decisions are declarative, not debatable. Machiavelli would observe that the prince who constantly justifies his decrees invites challenges to his dominion, eroding the very foundation of his authority. The man who over-explains is effectively handing over the reins, inviting others to question, to poke holes. to ultimately dictate his reality. He becomes a pawn in an emotional chess match he didn't even realize he was playing. But mastering this declarative communication requires more than just holding your tongue. It demands a recalibration of your entire approach to confrontation, especially when faced with direct resistance. When direct resistance manifests, often as aggression or thinly veiled manipulation, the default human response is to either capitulate or retaliate in kind. Both are losing propositions in the ultimate mental game. The true master, the high-value man, understands that power isn't about matching intensity, but controlling the emotional battlefield. This is where the principle of the emotional mirror, it becomes paramount. Imagine their agitated energy as a projectile. Instead of catching it or dodging it clumsily, you present a polished, unyielding surface. Their aggression bounces off your serene composure, reflecting their own agitated state. Back at them, this isn't about being passive. It's an active, deliberate form of emotional control. You are not absorbing their negativity. You are nullifying its impact by refusing to engage on their terms. This disarms them because their manipulation relies on eliciting a strong, predictable reaction from you. When they meet stillness instead of a fight, their entire strategy unravels. This technique showcases profound inner power. It's a Machiavellian chess move where you subtly turn your opponent's momentum against them without expending your own energy. A high-value man commands respect precisely because he is impervious to emotional assaults. His masculine strategy isn't about brute force but psychological finesse. He denies the aggressor the very validation of their anger by remaining unshaken. The mental game is won not by shouting louder, but by demonstrating an unassailable calm that reveals their own frantic efforts as futile. This quiet strength, this unwavering presence, is a far more devastating weapon than any verbal counterattack. It forces them to confront their own projected chaos, exposing their profound insecurity, but maintaining this impenetrable calm under pressure requires a disciplined internal framework, a mastery not just of external projection, but of your own deep-seated responses. Ing it, or dodging it clumsily, you present a polished, unyielding surface. Their aggression bounces off your serene composure, reflecting their own agitated state back at them. This isn't about being passive. It's an active, deliberate form of emotional control. You are not absorbing their negativity. You are nullifying its impact by refusing to engage on their terms. This disarms them because their manipulation relies on eliciting a strong, predictable reaction from you. When they meet stillness instead of a fight, their entire strategy unravels. This technique showcases profound inner power. It's a Machiavellian chess move where you subtly turn your opponent's momentum against them without expending your own energy. A high-value man commands respect precisely because he is impervious to emotional assaults. His masculine strategy isn't about brute force but psychological finesse. He denies the aggressor the very validation of their anger by remaining unshaken. The mental game is won not by shouting louder, but by demonstrating an unassailable calm that reveals their own frantic efforts as futile. This quiet strength, this unwavering presence, is a far more devastating weapon than any verbal counterattack. It forces them to confront their own projected chaos, exposing their profound insecurity, but maintaining this impenetrable calm under pressure requires a disciplined internal framework, a mastery not just of external projection, but of your own deep-seated responses. This is where authentic power truly resides, not in a facade of perfection, but in the radical acceptance of your entire being, flaws and all. Many men waste immense energy attempting to suppress or deny aspects of themselves they deem unmasculine or weak. They fear vulnerability, mistakenly believing it diminishes their standing. This internal warfare, this constant battle against your own shadow, is the greatest drain on your mental game. A true high-value man understands that integration, not suppression, is the path to an unshakable presence. He acknowledges his fears, his doubts, his past failures, not as liabilities, but as components of his complex, evolving self. This isn't about wallowing in imperfection. It's about owning it, understanding its origins, and then choosing how it informs your actions, rather than letting it control them. This level of self-awareness is a sophisticated form of emotional control. It renders you immune to manipulation because there are no hidden weaknesses for an adversary to exploit. You've already confronted them. When you operate from this place of holistic self-acceptance, your energy isn't fragmented by internal conflict, it flows genuinely, creating an aura of undeniable authenticity that commands respect. This masculine strategy isn't about being invulnerable, but about being unfragile. It's a Machiavellian understanding that true strength comes from knowing your full arsenal, including its potential weak points, and turning them into integrated parts of your persona. This deep self-knowledge, this fearless self-confrontation, is the ultimate internal power play. It's the engine of genuine charisma, because your presence isn't an act, it's the unfiltered expression of a man who has mastered his internal landscape. But this journey of integration demands brutal honesty, an unflinching gaze into the mirror of your soul, to dismantle the illusions that hold you back. Only then can you truly grasp the next critical, the truth. The respect you receive is your absolute responsibility. It's not granted, it's earned, cultivated, and fiercely protected. Every slight, every boundary crossed, every instance of disrespect you endure is not merely an external event. It's a direct consequence of the internal rules you've set, or failed, to set, for your own existence. This is where the mental game truly intensifies. You are the architect of your own relational battlefield. If you allow incursions, if you tolerate trespasses, you are, in essence, signaling to the world that your territory is open for negotiation. A high-value man understands this implicitly. His masculine strategy isn't about overt aggression, but about an unyielding psychological perimeter. He employs emotional control not just to regulate his own internal state, but to project an aura that makes manipulation not just difficult, but unthinkable. He sets boundaries not as requests, but as non-negotiable declarations of his inherent, the worth and the parameters of engagement. This isn't about being liked. It's about being respected to the point where no one dares to test your resolve. It's a Machiavellian principle applied to personal sovereignty. You become an unassailable fortress, not through brute force, but through strategic self-possession. Your power is derived from your refusal to be anything less than absolute in your self-definition. The moment you accept anything less than the respect you know you deserve, you surrender a piece of your sovereignty, inviting further challenges to your domain. This isn't a passive stance, it's an active enforcement, a continuous calibration of your energy field. This continuous calibration of your energy field is your ultimate shield. Emotional control is not about repressing feeling, but about mastering your internal state so thoroughly that no external event, no challenge, no insult can breach your composure. It's the ultimate mental game, where you turn every potential manipulation attempt into an opportunity to demonstrate your unshakable power. A high-value man knows that true respect is earned not by reacting, but by observing. He sees the emotional ploys, the tests, the attempts to destabilize him, but he does not bite. This detached observation is a masculine strategy that Machiavelli himself would commend. It signals that your internal world is off-limits, unhackable. The man who can maintain this level of emotional control, who can watch his own feelings arise and dissipate without being swept away, commands an undeniable authority. He becomes the unmovable object in a world of easily swayed individuals. This isn't just about avoiding manipulation, it's about making manipulation irrelevant, because you project such an aura of self-possession that the very idea of testing your boundaries becomes futile. This mastery allows you to always operate from a position of strength, always in control of the emotional chessboard, never a pawn. You dictate the terms of engagement simply by being impervious to the tactics of lesser men. But how do you cultivate this internal fortress, this bastion of absolute calm in the storm of human interaction? It starts with understanding that true command isn't about issuing edicts, but about orchestrating consent. A high-value man doesn't need to shout to be heard. He knows that the most profound influence arises from enabling others to arrive at the desired conclusion themselves. This is a crucial element of leadership without effort. The art of asking questions instead of giving orders, of presenting alternatives rather than demands. When you frame your directives as inquiries, what do you think is the best path forward here? Or have you considered option B? And what are your thoughts on its potential impact? You engage their intellect, not just their obedience. This subtle shift is a masterstroke in the mental game of human interaction. It bypasses resistance, fostering a sense of ownership and autonomy in those you lead. It's a masculine strategy that builds deep, genuine respect, because it signals that you value their contribution, not merely their compliance. Your emotional control allows you to remain patient, to guide the conversation without asserting overt authority, thereby amplifying your natural power. This isn't manipulation in the negative sense. It's the intelligent application of influence. You're not forcing, you're facilitating. Machiavelli himself understood that humans are more easily led by their own perceived self-interest or by solutions they feel they helped craft. This approach makes external manipulation attempts against you less effective because you're already engaging others on a level that invites collaboration, not contention. It demonstrates an unshakable confidence, a leader so secure in his vision that he doesn't need to dominate, but can instead inspire. This is how you cultivate an environment where loyalty is organic, not coerced, and where your authority is never questioned because it's always earned. But achieving this level of effortless influence requires mastering another crucial aspect of your persona. Your unshakable inner frame. This isn't about being rigid, but about possessing an internal compass so true, so calibrated, that external disagreements don't destabilize your core. It's a deep form of emotional control, allowing you to view dissenting opinions not as attacks, but as data points in the mental game. A high-value man doesn't react defensively. He observes, processes, and then strategically responds. This is where true power resides, in your ability to maintain composure when challenged, to project an aura of calm authority that disarms potential adversaries. When you disagree, it's not from a place of insecurity, but from a clear, well-reasoned perspective. This masculine strategy asserts your position without resorting to brute force or overt manipulation. It earns respect because it signifies a man who is secure enough to allow others their perspective, while still holding his own ground with quiet conviction. This inner fortress makes you immune to the petty machinations of others, turning perceived challenges into opportunities to reinforce your leadership. Machiavelli understood the value of appearing unperturbed, for it speaks volumes about a leader's inherent strength and stability. It's a psychological warfare tactic where your calm is your greatest weapon. You don't just win arguments, you transcend them, reshaping the discourse by demonstrating superior emotional control and strategic foresight. This deliberate approach to disagreement is not about proving someone wrong. It's about guiding the collective towards a more optimal outcome, solidifying your role as the central figure of influence. This requires a profound understanding of the human ego, both yours and theirs. And to wield this understanding effectively, you must first master the art of ... And to wield this understanding effectively, you must first master the art of the inner game. Now tell me, have you ever been subtly manipulated, losing power without even realizing the mental game being played against you? Share your experience below. If you're ready to cultivate the unshakable emotional control and masculine strategy that defines a high-value man, earning true respect and power without needing overt manipulation, then subscribe and hit that bell. Only by doing so will you continue to unlock the Machiavellian insights most men never discover. For your next step in mastering the art of influence, click the video on screen now. Stay sharp.